We're rolling. Timer starts now. Mark. Hi, I'm Ford.
And I'm Sky, and these are not our real names. These are our superhero names, and with our powers combined, we formed the writing partnership L. Skyford. Welcome to Booklandia.
You've joined us today for a minisode, where we will geek out about literary topics like plot and character tropes, and maybe some book news. But before we get much further, did you know you can watch our faces do this episode by subscribing to us on Twitch at L. Skyford or YouTube at L.Skyford? You should do it. We give good face.
And sometimes there's a dog bomb at Ford's house.
This is true. For our other socials, you can follow us on Twitter at SkyfordL, on Instagram at L.Skyford. And if you're interested in our book, blog, or even more book reviews, head over to our website, lskyford.com.
Lastly, this and every episode are chock full of oversharing and spoilers, and every episode is rated E for explicit. You have been warned.
It's true.
I like that every episode in the video version of it, I throw to us whenever I feel like it. And so we just
Sometimes you catch me picking my nose.
Well, I try not to do that. I do pay attention somewhat, but but
Delightful.
hi nonetheless. So today we are going to talk about tropes, what they are, why we need them, and why we love them. Firstly,
Or hate them.
I feel like there's a lot of or hate them for us. Okay. So firstly, let's talk about what a trope is. A trope
You're wearing your professor glasses, so we must.
I am still wearing my professor glasses. I feel like they will become the prop for all of these minisodes.
Ooh.
The professor glasses trope.
I love it.
That's actually a thing, I think. I think that's an actual real thing. Yeah, okay. On that note, I mean, there's the sexy librarian trope, so it's got to be a professorial glasses trope.
Absolutely.
The word trope is used to describe commonly reoccurring literary and rhetorical devices, motifs, or cliches in creative work. I took this quote from, I want to say Wikipedia? So thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah. I've never heard you use the word motif in the history of our friendship, so
I mean,
I knew you took it from somewhere.
Yeah, no, I fully give credit where credit is due. Thank you, publicly sourced quotations. It just seemed to describe it. Today, the trope we're talking about today is enemies to lovers.
Enemies to lovers.
Enemies. They're just like anemones. Very similar.
Yes, exactly.
Very similar.
Spikier.
So tell me, what is enemies to lovers?
Other than being my least favorite trope in the history of tropes, enemies to lovers is when the characters in a story start off as being enemies and over the course of the book become lovers. It's usually it's workplace enemies. That's pretty common. So yeah, when they just, go from being co-workers to co-lovers. That was terrible. Don't let me do things.
Co-lovers? I think lovers implies the co. It should imply the co. Okay, so why do you think this trope works?
So it gives the characters a lot of arc to work with. You have to go from hating someone from the depths of your soul with a fiery passion that would make Satan jealous, and then over the course of a story, so in love with someone you would murder for them. So that's a lot of growth. That gives you a lot to go on, and it gives the reader a journey to travel with the character.
Nice. Agreed. All right. Why do you think this is a flawed? Why is it flawed for you? Because I know you feel really strongly about this trope.
Yeah, like, you hate someone for a reason. Trust your gut. Like, just trust your gut. You hate them for a reason, just go with it. Like, I don't...
What if you made a mistake?
People, mostly women, not trusting their gut is how you get into, like, sexual slavery situations. So I made it really
True. I
dark. I
mean,
went really dark.
you did.
But
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. This is your portion of the event. So you hated
yeah,
because must
I
trust your
like
gut.
right. Uh, if I don't like somebody, like I understand that a lot of people say there's a fine line between love and hate. I disagree. It's a chasm. If I don't like you, I am a frosty biatch. If I love you, I'm like a warm, cuddly kitten. So those are opposite for me, and to go from one to the other is not real. I don't believe it.
I see.
So it's not believable for me, and it's not emotionally satisfying for me.
So I'm actually a big fan of this trope.
Oh, oh my god.
I love some really nasty banter, and one of the reasons why it appeals to me so much is because I give a terrible first impression, and I judge
Okay.
people really harshly on first impression, and I spend a lot of time reminding myself to not be that person, to give people the opportunity to like be themselves in my presence and for me to really find goodness in them because like
Mhm.
I yeah, I am also terrible at first impressions, and you've been in social situations with me in which I am just the worst person on the planet the first time you meet me, and then I hope it gets better, but the first one is bad for me. And so I hope that people in my life who meet me and hate me on sight then like allow for the smoothed
Okay.
out edges over time.
I see. I see.
Yes. So
It's self-fulfillment a little bit.
a little bit. Yes, people, I hope that people read these and then also implement them IRL. And I am one of the
Okay.
people you want to not hate later.
I mean, I want to not hate you later, but think about someone you really hate. Do you have that picture of that person in your mind?
Okay.
Would you fuck them?
Not Well, okay, sorry. We have to go back. Firstly, there's such a thing as hate fucking, and the answer to that is yes. Secondly, and it's not healthy, but you do it for other cathartic
Right.
reasons. Secondly, not in the moment of hate, right? You said it yourself. The arc of these is that
Mm,
they
mhm,
develop, they change from the
mm,
original hate incident into people who really care for each other. And then yes, then it's like hot redemption
right.
sex. So
Okay.
yes.
So you could picture yourself going through a journey where you no longer hate this person but love them and want to bang them.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
also a big fan of never settling for again, not settling for my first opinion of someone or not like
Interesting.
locking in an opinion of someone long term. Right? Like I've met you,
Okay.
I've like identified you
Sure.
as a this or
Sure.
that. And then as a relationship changes, so does my definition of who you are in my life.
I see.
So
Mhm.
yeah, it is really hard for me to be like, this person belongs in this category forever.
Mm. I think where maybe it comes down for me is the fact that I give people so many chances. Like I can self-proclaim to be almost an eternal optimist for somebody. So when you get on my shit list, you've had to work really hard to get on my shit list. So maybe that's my deal.
All right. Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. So we know that I hate them and we know that you love them. So
Yes.
wow. So let's talk about some popular books that have this trope.
Well, there's a couple that are literally named after this, and there's
Ah,
one that I just realized that I didn't put on here. But
yeah,
there's a romance novel out there called The Hating Game by Sally Thorne,
right?
which is
Mhm.
literally about a workplace romance where
Mhm.
they hate each other until they get to know each other, and then turns out that hate was the wrong word.
Sure.
Then I
Sure.
also put on here Dating You, Hating You by Christina Lauren. Very
Mhm.
similar premise, very similar circumstances. Uh, and then actually, there is a lot of Christina Lauren in a lot of these minisodes
Yeah.
because they are my barometer
She
for
Yeah, yeah,
Tropelandia, if
yeah.
you will.
They're
Oh,
they're they're also one of our favorite authors, so
yeah. So
Tropelandia, look at what
I
you
know,
did.
I know.
So cute.
So Honey Don't List by Christina Lauren is also on here. I'm trying to really remember. I feel like they
That one was kind of it had 2 enemies to lovers because it had the couple that they were the assistants for, like, really hated each other, and then they also did not get along, but had
right.
to work together. So, yeah.
Yes. Um
The first one I put on the list, I called it the OG, was Taming of the Shrew by Shakespeare. I am a huge fan of 10 Things I Hate About You, which is like the movie teenage 1999 movie remake of Taming of the Shrew, OG, enemies to lovers. Not a romance, but very enemies to, I guess they become lovers. Daughter of Smoke and Bone. It's one of our all-time favorite books.
it absolutely is one of our all-time favorite books. I disagree with its placement in Enemies to Lovers because
Oh, is it
so
is it an
they
opposites attract?
yeah, they were
All
never
right.
enemies. They're
Mm,
factions, right? The
sure.
things that they belong to, the people they belong to are
Yeah.
enemies. The two of them
Right.
are lovers twice.
Yeah.
Spoiler not
What
alert, the book's been out
we
for
told
forever.
you.
Yeah,
We
we
warned
warned
you.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and he knows who
Ah,
she is
right.
the whole time.
Yeah.
So maybe secret lovers, maybe opposites attract. Definitely opposites attract
Mhm.
in the original timeline with her, but not enemies to lovers.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So by that definition, then probably also not Saga, because they were
Yes.
again on the opposite sides of a war, but didn't really care one way of it or the other about it. So
Yeah,
okay,
to me,
great.
enemies to lovers is these two specific people
Hate each
clash.
other.
Clash in
Great.
a way that really
Okay.
doesn't seem like they're gonna fit together, and then they
Yeah.
do. And
Great.
so yeah.
Do you agree for the Bone season by Samantha Shannon?
I would
Where does
like
that one fall?
that to me is still very Stockholm season. Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm
Yep,
season.
yep.
We're halfway
Yeah.
through that storyline and I I believe that they need each other, but I don't believe that they love each other. I don't know, like that
Mm,
emotional connection to
yeah.
me is
It's
very
very weird. Yep,
weird and
yep.
very dependent on stressful situations. So it's like they're stress fucking, except they're not actually real. It's very confusing.
Yeah,
I also don't know that they're like she's his servant at some point. I I say no.
it's power dynamics. Okay, okay, okay. Alright, alright. Definitely Enemies to Lovers is the last one on our list, Today, Tonight, Tomorrow by Rebecca Lynn Solomon.
Rachel.
Rachel, sorry, Rachel Lynn Solomon.
That's totally
Yes,
fine.
where did
Yes,
my mind
I,
go?
I don't know, but I mean, yes, absolutely. I said Stockholm season. You said Rebecca instead of Rachel. It's totally
Rachel.
fine.
Yep,
Yes,
uh-huh.
Rachel Lynn Solomon's Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. It literally says so on page one.
Yeah,
That they hate each other, and it's lovely, and it's wonderful, and
uh-huh,
delightful,
uh-huh.
and I cannot believe you didn't like it. I mean, you
No,
like the
I
book,
loved
but the
it.
trope.
I hate the trope. That book is the only I'm pretty sure the only Enemies to Lovers that I have thoroughly enjoyed.
Well then, so these are
So,
our
that's my number 1. My number 1.
my number one. Excellent. I have a lot of them. Like I said, this is a trope I really like.
Mhm.
I like some really good barbed hatred.
Yeah.
And then when they come together and they fall in love with each other, they sort of look back on those barbs, and it's a delight to be like,
Mhm,
you thought
mhm.
this was terrible, but it's really not terrible at all. Yes, I'm a huge fan. I have a long list. If you need more recommends, hit me up.
Let us know what your favorite or least favorite enemies to lovers tropes books are, or if, like Ford, you hate them all.
Hate them, most of them. So are you, dear audience human, gonna pick up this book now that you've heard our review? Let us know in the comments. Have a suggestion for another review? Slide on into our DMs.
If you like this adventure in books or updates on our upcoming projects, please follow, like, save, subscribe, rate, review us on Instagram at l.skyford, on Twitch at lskyford, and on Twitter at skyfordl. Phew. I'm Sky.
And I'm Ford. And that's it for this minisode. We will see you next time on Booklandia, where every book is a whole world to explore.